thank you for coming here today.
Thanks for having us.
And very exciting news. You have your first proper live album. You had one recently, like before this, but this is the real first proper one.
Well, this is limited to the 5 guys on stage. So one we did, I guess 12 years ago, we did with the Atlanta Youth Orchestra, which added about 100 other people on stage. And we did that to raise money for the orchestra. This time, we did it for people to just hear what 5 guys sound like on stage.
So what do 5 guys sound like on stage these days?
Loud and rambunctious.
Loud and rambunctious. Rock and roll, right? I mean,
rock and roll, that's right.
Rock and roll.
Yeah, and it took us a second to kind of get in that groove after about Jesse and Johnny, the drummer, joined the band about 5 years ago, and it was at that point where they came in and go, y'all are a rock and roll band. Let's keep being a rock and roll band. We make no apologies about it anymore. It's okay to be a rock and roll band.
Yeah.
So, yes, we're a rock and roll band.
And not just a 90s band.
No. We were formed in the 90s, but we are not a 90s band. We still make music. We're going to release we're releasing the live record, and then next year we'll release our 10th studio recording. Wow,
that's very exciting. Well, back to the live album. You had about 160 concerts to sort through. Did you recorded them all?
Correct.
Did you feel extra nervous? Like, oh my gosh, we have to be really on?
Not really. We kind of knew like we were going to be recording the shows and stuff early on in the tours, but we all kind of forgot about it and just got on stage and played like we always do. And then every day in like sound check, you'd hear like a board mix from the night before, and it's like, where's that from? It's like, that was last night. It's like, oh, well, all right.
Not bad.
I guess we're on the right track.
Yeah.
So what was that process like, going through all of that material?
For us, absolutely nothing. We brought our engineer out, and he would come out at different times of the tour, and he'd go, y'all are sounding good. And we would go, okay, well then go through that week, because the last thing we want to do when we get home is listen, hey, sweetie, I'm home. Let's listen to a little Collective Soul. It's not happening. So he was kind enough and patient enough to go through it. But he had a kind of an idea. And then, like Jesse said, we forget that we're recording live, which is good. Because at the beginning, you're kind of like, how much of a showman do you become? How much do you make sure your performance is right on tape? And after we forgot about it, which is the honest way to do it, and that's when it started happening. So he didn't go through 160 shows, trust me. And if he says that, he's lying. If Sean says that.
Well, luckily he came out at the beginning and then in the middle and then the end. And he was able to kind of get a good read of like, okay, this is where everything was firing on all cylinders. This is when they're ready to go home. Right.
You know the difference, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a song that hasn't been released before, Right as Rain, right? That's on this this record. Talk about that song and why you wanted to include it on the live album.
Well, it's going to be on the next studio record, and we use, not only when we went out touring from our last studio recording, when we're out there, you still want to keep writing and record and think about the next record. So we use it as pre-production. We'll play new songs no one's ever heard. We'll let the audience know, and then just to get a vibe off them. And also we work out the kinks, and like I said, it's like pre-production for us. And you can tell from the audience if they like it or if they don't. So if they didn't, we'll go to the next song. But they seem to like this one, and so we
there's a few nights where we screw it up royally on stage, and we'll be like, we're gonna try that again. We'll play it twice.
Nice.
Just to
figure it out.
Let them get the right version of it as best as we can.
Well, I'm sure fans are excited about even more new material. So what can we expect from the next studio record that you're currently working on?
Well, we're going to approach this. We've always, we love being a rock band, but we also I grew up in the era where I'm a big fan of Elton John, Beatles, ELO. So with Elton John, you had Paul Buckmaster, who was a string arranger. So I love strings and things like that. And we've incorporated that on every record, but like just 1 or 2 songs maybe. So this record, our recording, like I said, I grew up in the 70s and 80s where you had records, so there was side A and side B. So side A is going to be the rock, and side B is going to be a little bit more with the orchestration. So we get to play a little bit more around with that.
A little variety, I like it.
That.
So the live album, of course, features the song that really broke you guys, Shine, which is really exciting. But this is a kind of a different take on the song that we're used to hearing that we know from the recording.
It is. I wanted to play piano. I just felt like, I don't know how many times we played it, but literally I was noodling with it on the piano one day, brother Dean was like, I think Dean's just trying to get me off the guitar as much as possible. He's like, play the piano. Let's just give it a different, more vibe of. It still has the rock element, but we just wanted to start off with a little bit more. I don't want to say gospel feel, but just give it a more, just something you haven't heard for the last 25 years. A little variety.
A little variety. Do you ever get bored on stage, like playing a song like that?
Not on stage. I never get played.
Okay.
But like I said, I will not go home and pop in. That's not going to ever happen.
Not throwing on the debut album.
No.
What do you put on?
Right now, what am I listening to? It sounds weird. I love just going back. I got Paul Simon's, what came out last year. Remember we were listening to that the other night?
The Liam Gallagher record.
Yeah. And Robert Plant's new one is awesome with the percussive thing. So it's fun to watch our heroes grow and all these years, and they're still doing things that are exciting to me as a fan. So I love Head and the Heart. That's my favorite new band. I like that. I mean, they're not new, but I really dig what they're doing.
Yeah, they've been putting out good stuff.
They have.
What about you? Are you similar? Are you on par with Ed?
Pretty much. I mean, he's more the vinyl guy than I am, even though I have
I'm
vinyl
all
as well. He is. He's like, hey man, take this with you, check this out, listen to it. So it's kind of like a little trade-off type thing we do. But yeah, that's pretty on point with. We share the same interest at this point, at least.
Well, you
We spend too much time together, is what I'm saying.
Well, what is it like, day after day on the road? I'm sure it's very different from then when, you got your start in the early 90s.
Actually, it's better now.
Yeah?
I mean, everybody, you mature and you learn. Things happen so quickly for us at the beginning. Sometimes it's hard for me to even remember what happened. I mean, literally, we're in my parents' basement rehearsing. The next thing, we get a call and fly to New York. We get signed. We play Woodstock, and we're on tour with Aerosmith. And it's just a day. You don't have no idea what's going on. So it's taken us this long to kind of figure it out and get comfortable with where we are. And we enjoy each other's company. I mean, my brother's in the band. I have to enjoy his company, or my mama will spank me still. But we're friends. I mean, we literally talk about we're off, after this weekend, and everybody's coming to Atlanta. We're going to have a dinner together. It's just, it's family.
Yeah. And you do an annual Christmas show, right? And
I
that you
do,
host,
yeah.
right? What can we expect this year?
Oh, I got my buddies Emerson from Tonic and Kevin from Better and Ezra, and then I think everybody's going to stay. Like we're having our holiday dinner as a band, and so hopefully everybody stays, unless Johnny's going on some cruise.
He's on a cruise every
time he's home. He goes on a cruise. I've never seen a cruise
picture of him with a monkey on his shoulder like an hour ago, like no joke.
on a cruise.
On a cruise, yeah.
Well, I love that you guys are so tight.
Yeah,
That's
it's
really cool. What was it like you mentioned it earlier, at that height of that fame of when, kind of a blur. You said you made it seem so quick, like this, then Aerosmith. But what did it really
It was
feel like?
confusing. And I think that we talk about that. I think there was a point in our career where we could have, had we not all kind of grown up together, and of course my brother being in the band, and most bands I think would have broke up. But I think we took a year off and we made a conscious effort because I think the rest of the guys were 10 years younger than me when this started, so they're 20-year-old kids. And all this just happened. I don't think they had a chance to really develop who they were personally. Instead of everything was just collective soul. So we took a year off, and I was like, I don't even want to talk about it. I'm just exhausted with it myself. And when we came back, everybody was comfortable with who they found themselves to be, and we accepted that, and we just moved forward.
These days, what is the writing process like for this new album?
Who knows? Just wake up, go.
Well, this last record, you had some skeleton ideas, and we all sat down in the studio and just started playing, kind of like jamming, like back in the
Yeah, when you start, that's a beautiful thing. Now we've gone back to where, as you said earlier, we started playing together in a room, recording. Then the technology and everybody just kind of distancing themselves. They're like, oh, just send me the file. I'll do the solo. We got back 5 years ago, and it's like, no, we sit in a room and we lay down the basic tracks and we figure it out right there as a band, which I think is a lost art. You just don't hear about that much, and we love that. Right or wrong, good, bad notes, good, almost good notes. Yeah. It's all right because we were sitting in the room, and it's just a different energy. It feels youthful to me again as a band.
It seems like it's very organic.
It is.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's energetic too. I mean, it's just, you can feel it with each other in there. Now the amps are all over the place. They're in closets, outdoors, or whatever. We record in my house, which is awesome for me because I get to stay in my robe all day.
I literally have a picture of you with headphones on, laying down on the sofa, laying down a scratch vocal. He's just laying watching TV, singing with a microphone.
But I do sit up when I do the real vocal.
No, of course, yeah. Come on, man.
You're not sleeping your way through it. Amazing. So what does the next year look like for you guys? Do you think that you'll be touring as heavily as you have been?
We hope so.
Yeah.
We love that. Once again, once you get back and get energized, and I think the songs are the best they've ever been. I think we're the best we've ever been as a band, and we're gelling better. So hopefully we get to express that to whoever wants to come see it and listen.
Who are those people that come see it and listen when you look out in the crowd?
You know what? It's changing in a generation. You still see that, but you're starting to see, the kids coming a little bit now. Like, I don't know if their mom and dads drug them out because they couldn't find a babysitter. but you can see them. They're like, okay, yeah, it's rock and roll. It's all right.
So it's who,
Yeah.
it's like who their parents listen to now
Right.
that they're listening to.
Yeah, it's okay. We've
Yeah.
made it that long. I mean, seriously, that's a feather in the cap.
We talked about Shine earlier. That's been covered by various artists through the years. Do you have a favorite cover of that song?
It's going to be Dolly Parton for me, hands
Parton.
down. I mean,
all right.
you can't mess with the icon. I'm sorry, whoever else has covered it, I don't know, because Dolly covered it, and that's all that matters.
Would you agree?
It begins and ends there, absolutely, with Dolly.
I think it was just covered on a reality show too. Someone took it on. Maybe
I
The
think so.
Voice or
You know what? But
something.
it doesn't matter. Dolly did it. I'm sorry. It ends there.
Did you know when you were writing that song that this is going to be the song that's going to, take us to this next level?
Not at all. Actually, my brother was going to Georgia State, and they have Album 88 there, which is a college station, and he took some demos I had made, and he asked him to play a song called "Good Night, Good Guy," and they listened to like the 4 songs, and they're like, "No, we're gonna play this," and it was "Shine," and then literally I think that was in October of '93, and then we played it just went nuts after that. Just to let you know, the only people that would show up to see us play before then was whoever we were dating. And, I mean, but that's part of it. It builds character. And then after that, it was like a lot of people, to the point where like, who are we playing with tonight? Why are these people here?
Wow, that's incredible. But then, you put out your sophomore album, but was there pressure to kind of reach that same sort of height? Because you ended up having a successful sophomore album.
That's funny you ask. I was with a bunch of writers, and we were talking about that the other day, and everybody says, you have your whole life to write the first one, and 9 months, whatever, to write the second one. I was like, pressure was off for me because I could actually afford an apartment. I mean, I was just living on people's floors and under a board in a studio. So to me, it just gave me a comfort zone and to do what I always wanted to do, which was to write. And the same thing for the guys in the band. I think there was a lot of pressure. And then more pressure happened after that. That didn't have to do with that. That was just legal stuff. But
Yeah.
I think it's easy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all I ever wanted to do is be a writer, and I've been blessed to be given that chance.
Right. And then The World I Know came out and a bunch of other hits. So and the rest is history. How long do you see yourself doing this?
Yeah, Ed, how long do you see yourself doing this?
How long does he have a gig?
I see no end in sight. I mean, I talked to my wife, and she even says, "You'll never stop." I don't want to. This is what I dreamed of as a kid, and I got it. So I want to keep going. And I still haven't written that song yet. I'm waiting for that song. That one. Yeah. Don't tell me I didn't if I do it, because I'll stop.
No, I absolutely will not.
Well, we can't wait to hear that song. The live album comes out on Friday, right?
Please don't ask the artist.
Yeah, well, it comes out on Friday. But we also have some questions from the fans, so
Okay, cool.
We'd love to get to those as well.
All right.
Hey guys, being that this is a live album, is there a song that you guys enjoy playing live?
It changes nightly for me, and a lot depends on where I am vocally, where I feel good. There's some songs when I'm not feeling good, and I know it's at the end of the set. I'm like, uh-oh.
I'm a Contagious fan, personally, just because one of my favorite bands growing up was Zeppelin, and it's got that Zeppelin feel to it. And so every time, like, I get to start that song off with the riff, and it's just like, selfishly, it's just a good feeling to go out there and play these riffs that just got, you know, some anger to it, and it's just that's one of my personal favorites, and I think it translates on the live record pretty well too.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Who's next? Right here.
Hi. Is songwriting easier or harder for you at this point of your careers?
It's easier, but I demand more out of it. To be able to be given an opportunity it'd be no different than if you're a computer programmer. You hope you're better 30 years later. You know, just creating things, and to be given the opportunity just to focus on that. Lyrics are a little difficult, but other than that, it's easier for me. It truly is, because I have the time. I don't have to worry about like rent money or anything like that, if that makes sense. So I have the time, and with years, with doing it over and over, it feels easier to me. Maybe it's not, I don't know.
That's cool. That's great. Who's next?
Hi, guys. So if we were to be a fly on the wall, like 5 minutes before any kind of performance, what would be some like pre-show rituals that we'd see you guys doing? Maybe some things, before.
Usually making Johnny Rab dance. That's our drummer.
He's our drummer.
Yeah. We don't have any like crazy pre-show rituals. I mean, we definitely, you know, I don't think we intentionally do it like as a pre-show ritual, but I can't remember a show where we didn't, like, right before each person walked on stage, we didn't hug or, you know, give a high five or something. Like, it always happens like kind of organically. So I don't think we force anything before we go out there.
I just try to trick Johnny every time. I do the whole.
Oh yeah.
We try to trick Johnny, and Johnny's, bless his heart, he's so sweet, but he is the drummer. We have fun. I think we actually get fired up just having fun, jokes.
We've had some strange conversations going on right before stage. It's like, hey, we got to go play a show.
That's right. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like you're having a lot of fun. Thanks you all for all those questions. Jesse, Ed, thanks for coming by today.
Thank you.
Album's out on Friday. Give it up one more time for part of Collective Soul.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.